In today's video, we'll be setting up our blog. In the previous video, which is part of day one, we've sort of like picked a niche, and if you guys are following with this as your second part of that video, we will be going ahead to set up our blog. Now, two things first. If you are part of the 30-day Epic Blog Business Launch membership, obviously you would have already received your login details to your client panel, to the membership, where you can access some of the tools that we'll be using in doing this. If you're going to set up your blog, you need a domain name. You also need web hosting. And for those of you who are watching this video, if you haven't got a domain name sorted out yet, you need to buy that. You need to buy a domain. And if you haven't figured out which web hosting company you would be using, we've put together a comprehensive list of best web hosting companies, and where you can buy a domain, and probably maybe the cheapest web hosting service providers that you can find online. I think the cheapest we've got there, I think, is the $2.75. So check the link, the resource link below this video. There should be a link that should sort of like show you what sort of options are available, and then you can pick which one I think is going to work for you. But for those of you who are members of Blog Launch, you should check your emails, and I think inside your email you should find a link to your membership account. Now, just to sort of like walk you over quickly, if you have just subscribed to our membership, obviously you probably maybe got an invoice that looks like this. If you haven't received that, obviously if you've made your payment, you would have received an invoice like this. Once you've completed your payment, it should automatically take you into your membership dashboard. Now, this is our membership dashboard, and as you can see, this is where inside my membership dashboard, my services that I've purchased will be listed on. And if I have any outstanding invoices, as you can see, I've got this outstanding invoice here. It would show up in here, inside here. This is where it would show where my invoices are. And if I have any domain names that I've registered inside my membership control panel, because you can actually register domain names right here. You sort of like put in whatever name that you want, and if you want to transfer your domain name into your control panel so that you can manage your domain names inside, in one place, you could also do the same. But this is where you would sort of like type in the type of name of your business that you want to register, and you hit this button and it will register the domain. Once that domain has been registered, it will appear here on this list. All right. What else? Okay, so this is a list of my products that are currently active inside my membership. So like you guys are, as you can see, I've got one service which is active here, and this is one which is active. And if I had maybe 2 or 3 products, they would appear here. And if there are any support tickets, my support tickets would be here. We we have a place here where you can click and open your tickets. And if you want to open your tickets, if you guys are having any technical issues and stuff like that, this is where you can go and sort of like open your ticket and things like that. This is where you can request your ticket, and if there's any biddings, this is where those would sort of like appear, and pretty much the same. So quickly, that's the way how the dashboard looks like. But to sort of like get started in setting up your domain, I'm gonna go to the area where now we can start working things out. Okay, so first things first, when you get in here in the back end of your cPanel, this is where I think administratively you would come and do part of the top level administrative stuff that you want to do. So if I scroll down just a little bit here, before that, okay, so this is your file manager. This is where you would manage all this is where sort of like all the files regarding your website, they will reside here. And if I click that, you can see that I don't have that much files in here, but there should be some files that would be coming in here. All right, so if the first thing to do when you get in here, once you're logged in, you want to scroll down to the bottom here, all right, to this area. First thing is to make sure that you create an email for your domain. You need that domain, or you need those emails, emails where when you have installed your website, when you have installed your WordPress, so that you can send those emails into that account. And because you haven't got an account yet set up, this is where you sort of like come in here and set up, and all you have to do is just click here and it will open up. And now this is where you can create your emails. As you can see, these are the emails that I've created. And if I want to add an email, all right, so I type in here, I'll type my my name here. I'll put in my password here, and I'll retype the password here. All right, and create, and hit create. Once I hit create, automatically, if this box is ticked, which is always ticked as a default, the system is going to send me an email containing all the details relating to this account. All right, so that's the first thing you've got to do. Once that is out of the way, you are all set to go. You scroll down below. All right, just go to the bottom of this page until you see software. As you can see here, software. So here you have access to this auto installer. It's called Softaculous applications, and if I hit this one, it opens up this panel. This is where I get to select which content management system do I want to install. So if you were going to install Joomla, you would choose Joomla, but in our case, obviously, we are going to install WordPress. So all I need to do now is just hit install, and now, as you can see, it takes me to this panel where protocol that you want to use. If you want to use without the W's, you can select. If you want to use the one with W's, you can select. Now, because this domain is new, I would have already installed my my domain on the HTTPS, but I'm not gonna install this one on HTTPS simply because we haven't generated the SSL certificate for this domain. And one of the things that you want to do when you are installing WordPress for the first time, especially you guys who are in the inside the membership, because your website comes with the SSL certificate provided for you for free for 1 year, and that kind of like that's one of the problems with some of you, because part of the package tells you you've got an SSL certificate on your server. When you come here, if you put that you are installing the WordPress website on an SSL with an SSL certificate on it, it will give you errors when you've finished installing your website. Simply because the SSL certificate will only be generated and will only be allocated to your domain when you have installed the WordPress first. So do the installation first, and then we are going to install the SSL certificate, and then you can sort of like change the HTTP protocol into the one that has got SSL certificate license on it. I will show you how to do it inside your WordPress. It's easy. It's a 1 minute job that you can easily do inside. So make sure, number one, this is crucial, it's important, make sure that you choose the one that has got no SSL certificate, which we are going to swap later on. And you can see your domain here, and then also make sure if you are installing this on a new domain like I am at the moment, I have to make sure that I do not create a directory, because if you leave that one here, your domain is not going to be at domain.com. It's going to be at your domain / the extension of that folder that you're going to install in. So that's problematic, because when people are trying to get to your domain, they would have to sort of like provide the extension so that they can access those files on your website. But make sure that you leave this box empty. All right, so we are going to continue, and here you can change this to anything. Make sure that you put the name of, the title of the site name, whether it's just if it's a cosmetic blog or whatever it is, you put it on here. But even if you don't put it on here, you can also change this inside your WordPress site. But it's always good practice to make sure that you put your site title here, and make sure that you also change on the administrative accounts here at the bottom. Make sure that you change the details and provide a strong password for it. All right, and here you also make sure that you change that email. Okay, as you can see now, I've changed my username, I've typed in my password, I've changed my email, making sure that the email is pointing to whichever administrative email that you're using on your website. I'm ready to go. So I'll scroll to the bottom, and here, if I want to install a template that I want to use for my website, I would select one here, anyone that I want to use. But in this particular case, I will be installing my own template that you will still have access to this control panel, where through your control panel, where you can actually select any of these templates. So for now, if I just hit install, as you can see now, it has completed. It has installed my WordPress, and it gives me access now to the platform. So now, as you can see, if I click this URL, it will take me straight to the back end of the website, and if I click this one, it will take me to the front end of the website. So let's just go to the front end, back end of the website. All right, guys, this is the back end of the website now. Now, as you can see, there's quite a lot of stuff that I think we need to do in here, just to clean up, to make sure that the website is looking. But if you've been hearing that installing WordPress, blah 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 blah, this is exactly what it is. It's not difficult. It's a 5-minute job, and you could have that website installed. And once your WordPress is installed, as you can see here, you can navigate to the front end and see how your WordPress is looking like. And this is the front end. So you can see that it's an absolute bare bone. There's literally nothing in here, and it's not even looking good. As you can see, this is where you could just hover here, and a menu will pop down, and you can see it says dashboard. If I click that, that takes me back to the back end of the website. And now all I need to do is sort of like start beautifying my website and sort of like getting certain things sorted out. Now, what I'm going to do is to sort of like just do a bit of a cleanup, which means I have to sort of like just take these out so that it looks a little bit nice and tidier, and that way we can concentrate on getting things sorted out quickly. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is to make sure that I do install some plugins. All right, so if I hover here, you can see it says plugins, and I hit add new, and if I hit popular, this now gives me an opportunity to start installing plugins that I use. And one of the plugins that I normally make sure that I use is I will install Yoast. The other one that I'm going to install is this plugin, really simple SSL. It's an SSL certificate plugin that kind of like makes installing SSL on your website a lot easier. I love that one. Alright, so now I've just selected the products that I want to install from Thrive, and it's installing now. It's sort of like going through the process. That's all nice and sorted out. So now what I need to do is sort of like just go in here and see what we have in here. You can see this is the template that we've just installed. All right, so I'll activate that one. And if you remember very well, when we last checked the blog, it looked completely different. Now if we go back, you can see it has completely changed now. So what I need to do is sort of like just go through the process of beautifying and sort of like customizing the website. So I'm going back into plugins. There are some plugins that needs a bit of updating, and like Akinsmith, I'll update that. And as you can see, these plugins and everything is all sorted out and ready to go, but these at the bottom, they haven't been activated, so I need to make sure that I activate that. And if there are any errors that come up and stuff like that, I have to sort that out quickly. Put my email, and it will ask you for a premium license there. You don't need to have, you can still use the free version, which is the also sort of like it's good enough to keep your website secure. So I wouldn't worry too much about all these other bits. I'm not gonna use this, so there's no point in keeping it there, just occupying the space, so I can delete that one. I'm going to activate a super catch. There are some settings that I need to do into WordPress just to make sure that is effectively doing what it's supposed to do when protecting my site, but I'm gonna have to do that a bit later. So all right, so those are now kind of like the plugins that I normally use. If I wasn't using Thrive theme, I would have installed the social plugins here, like social warfare and stuff like that, just to make sure that I have social buttons on my website, so that when people come in, they can sort of like share and they share content with friends and family and stuff like that. But in this particular case, I'm not gonna do it simply because I'm gonna use built-in social sharing buttons within my template. I use a Thrive theme, and it comes with a really nice share buttons that I like, so I'm gonna use those ones. So guys, if you were wondering how to install a WordPress and sort of like start getting things moving on in the right direction, really that is that, and all I need to do now is sort of like now start working with my blog, and start making the blog look like exactly what I want it to look like. I said, this is where I told you that you come in and edit everything that you need here, like the site title, tagline, and whatever you want to appear on the at the end of your website. This is where you come and edit those things. All right, scroll down at the bottom here, and I save. Now I go back. Let me just scroll up a little bit. I'll go into permalinks, make sure that I change here. This says my articles would appear according to day and name, but I don't want my articles to have, and I'll save that. That's it, guys. That's all you have to do. Now if I go back to the website now and refresh it, you can see now we've got gear reviews, about, and homepage. And once I've finished cleaning everything up and published a few articles and stuff like that, the website is gonna start looking the way how I want it to look like. That's it, guys, for today. And if you guys have any questions or any concerns, just leave a comment below this video or get in touch direct with me. All right, cheers, guys.